That'll be all right.
All right, we are going to continue with media availabilities today here at Phoenix Raceway. We are now joined by Ross Chastain, driver of the #1 Trackhouse Racing Chevrolet. We will get right into questions, so if you have a question, please raise your hand and we will get a mic over to you. We will start right up here.
Thanks. Hey, Ross. Cooper's BlazeRadioOnline.com. Obviously, yesterday you were really strong in the long run and practice yesterday, particularly 15 lap. With it being a little warmer and a little bit windy, are you a little bit concerned about maybe your short run speed in qualifying? Or you guys really kind of focused on the long race run tomorrow?
We just focused on getting grip. We really struggled yesterday just for balance. I couldn't believe that we were 15th on fast lap. We were 12th early on, and my crew chief, Phil Surgeon, said, 12th. And wow, I feel like I'm 35th. Like, I just did not feel like I had the grip in the car. So it's a little bit tough, though, because we're coming off the win. So I feel like a lot of my memories are of the really good laps, the laps we're driving away from the field, we're passing people. And as I really dug back in last night, there was a lot of times where I see a lot of erratic steering and heavy braking from my driving traces from last fall. So it wasn't as good as I remembered. I had a whole off season to just, think back through and dream about all the good that happened. But there were some moments where I wasn't happy with the car last fall. So, definitely we didn't fall off as much as some people, but we're just too tight. So we were way too tight coming here. We're just sliding the front tires a lot. And we made a lot of changes in practice and after, which has not been the norm for the one car. We normally y'all see it, we're pretty spot on. So, we went to work and made a lot of changes before we had to get in tech line.
Let's go to Jim Etter.
Jim Utter, Motorsport.com. Last week after the race, you talked about the speeding penalties, but I wondered, is it especially frustrating because of how well, in general, you guys seem to have started the season as far as speed, that there's a lot of potential out there to have been even better in the first three races?
Yes, sir. Yeah, if I was back in my days of premium motorsports and going to run 27th on a good day and I sped and it made us finish 29th, it was like, well, okay. Or even if we would get back there, but I knew it took us out of like just being, I'm not doing my job. It was hard then, but a little looking back, easier now when we have cars capable of winning. Now I watched the race back post Las Vegas and it doesn't show like watching it. I'm like, well, that doesn't look like a race winning car. But in the car, I felt a capable winning car to fight with the 5 and the 45. So that's why my human emotion takes over, and I can't get out of my own way of saying anything, but I was just so sad that I took us out of a shot. Now, we got back up there, but if we would have been there with the 45, when I sped, I was 5 car lengths in front of the 45 on pit road, coming to pit road right in front of him, like we were racing with him, and I felt equal to him. So I just wanted a shot to continue to make adjustments on my car up front, continue to have 4 tires on it. The 2-tire call was great, and it was a great Band-Aid on a when we look back, I might not even remember the speeding penalty, or most people won't. I know I will. So yeah, I just the speed of the car and the feel, like it goes fast, and it was driving so good that I could hustle it. That's what makes it tough. And then I get out and I'm human, so I look back at my interviews and I should be more positive. I should be thinking about a lot more things than just that one moment where I sped by 0.6 of a mile an hour or something, and I just can't get past it because it's such a unforced error that at this level, especially doing it 3 weeks in a row, it just built up, and then I just kind of lost my mind there when I realized I'd done it again.
I just wondered, when you were racing Kyle towards the end, if there was a chance that you happened to clear him, even though you were on 2 tires, do you think you would have had a chance to win? Or do you think it was too much time?
Not sure. Got close.
Do we have any additional questions? We'll go up to Dustin Long.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. With what you're talking about in terms of speeding, in one sense there's a lot of elements that can go into it. But at the end of the day, what has to be done, or how do you get to that point where you're reaching 10/10ths but not over that line? I know you can say, well, don't speed. Well, okay, what goes into that process of what you have to do, what you have to work with the team, or what you have to think about or look at? Because again, so much can be gained on there. You don't want to back off, because then you're going to lose a chance to win.
Right. Yeah, each one of our speeding issues have been a little bit different.
How so?
Well, I can think of Atlanta was going from the transition from the 90-mile-an-hour zone to the front stretch traditional. I locked the left front up and slid into that first section. And then I also sped leaving because I stalled it, so I freaked out. And when I got it fired up, I went way past my lights. I was just realizing how much time I had lost, and I was going to lose the draft. So I sped about 3 and change miles per hour. That's not unheard of. So that was just that stemmed from hitting the 6 on track. We had slammed side to side, and so I pitted without telling my crew. So it just spiraled out of control. There was 90 seconds where my mind in the car just kind of went haywire, and it glit. I felt like I couldn't function because we hit, and I thought I was going to blow a left front tire. So then you go to Vegas and you slow down in the banking and then turn down on the apron. Well, I went really slow. I went 6/10ths, like you're talking about. I wasn't trying to beat 10/10ths. And then I turn on the apron, I'm slow, and I just released the brake just to roll up to the line. I thought I was too slow. And when I went back to the pedal to slow down, I realized I was too close to the yellow line. And so it really came from a fact of laziness in my mind at Las Vegas, where I wasn't trying to be aggressive. I was trying to be the opposite. And in the laziness, I just let off the pedals. Well, that just went too fast. I let off too long. So, yeah, there's that's when the intention is to go slow and I still speed. That's where my frustration came from. In the car in the moment, and then dejection after of just, okay, I know what my intention was. It was very clear. I know what my mind was trying to do, and then in the moment, I don't execute on what I'm intending to do. So it's one thing to push to the lights and know that they're right on the limit, and it just rolls a little faster, and it's 0.01 faster. It's another thing to intentionally be slow and still get popped because I was lazy with the pedals. So that's what honestly got me so upset. But what's so cool is that, I took the flight home, obviously to think about it Monday morning for sure, watched the race back first thing Monday, and walked away from it. And honestly, my team got me, and my guys were just like, look, we're not slowing down. We don't need you to be slow like you were at Vegas on approach to pit road. We need you to go back to Ross that wins the award. There's metrics that the whole garage measures pit road entry from turn 3 to the yellow line. I've won it a lot. Now it doesn't pay anything, but I've won it in premium motorsports cars. I've won it in, different teams I've worked with. It's something I've really focused on because that's one of the things I could win, and I'm a competitor. And then now I tried to back it down, and I still got caught. So it was cool to hear the guys and to truly change my mindset midway through Monday. No, we're going back. We're not backing down from a yellow line. That's not gonna, scare us.
Also, when you referenced last fall's race, I remember I think in the first segment you went from 8th to 3rd, and obviously you were up there able to make passes and get to the lead later on. So you were able to do what, in essence, this package that for this week is supposed to allow you guys to have a greater sense of. Can you give me a sense of what you were able to do so well last fall here, because you seem to move up better than anybody else, and what you're looking for, or what people should look for, and to see how much has changed? It sounds like the changes are going to be very minor, and it's going to be about the same type of race, and not to have our expectations go too high.
Yep.
But can you give me a sense of what you were able to do last fall and what you're hoping to try to do here tomorrow then?
Yeah, I felt that in the race early on that first run, I was able to maintain around 8th. I think I qualified, and had to fight off maybe the 43 first lap, and we kind of settled in, and I just maintained. And like as we all gapped ourselves, just naturally, like the leader's going to pull away first 5 laps, and 2nd through 40th is going to just have gaps. My gap just stayed the same. And then I saw the guys in 7th, like he slipped his right rear, and then he got tight off of 4, and like all these little moments. And I'm like, oh, mine's not doing that. So I was able to just maintain early. And then, I mean, we just had a very nice balanced car. So we were wearing the tires evenly. We weren't overheating one corner versus the others. So it just, mine definitely handled worse on lap 50 than it did on lap 5. But I was able to, the simple is just maintain early, and then I made most of my passes at the ends of the runs, which is just a sign of good balance, good mechanical grip, air aside. As you wear these tires, if you can wear them evenly, keep your balance, and your balance is, it was okay to start. I was able to, old school as old school can get, pass them on the long run.
So does that mean that with this new tire, is that a little more of a challenge?
I have no idea. I don't know. Like I've only gotten a little bit of practice on it, so I just don't know. I'll go react in the race. I don't go in with any preconceived ideas. A lot of drivers do, and more power to them that they believe they know what's going to happen before the race starts. I'm like, I'm going to drive in turn 1 and find out. I'm going to find out with everybody else, and then it's up to me, and where I feel like I'm strong is reacting instantly and catching the car when it reacts different than I thought. Of course, if it handled perfect, I'd be wide open in 5th gear all the way around here. It's not the case.
Let's go to Zach and then Lee.
Zach Sterniello, NASCAR.com. Ross, I'm curious, what in years past have you been able to take from the spring race and apply to the championship race? I know there's a lot of season between now and then, and especially this year with this being the debut of this particular rules package. What can you take from the spring, or what have you been able to take previously from the spring and apply to the fall?
Oh, previously was by the time you got to the fall, I knew where I was at in points. And so when I was driving that 4 car that's on the screen right now, we knew if we needed to buy tires or not. We knew if we needed to finish a couple spots ahead, or we could finish worse, and it didn't matter because we were going to get paid the same. You lost a little purse money, but it wasn't enough to offset the cost of 4 sets of tires. So it's pretty wild to think back to that. And with Dawson qualifying here, like that's cool to think that that's where I was at one point. Now it's just, I don't, that's up for Chevrolet and Trackhouse to think about what's the difference is spring to fall. Like I just was talking about in the last answer, like I just react. I react to the simulator. I react to the at track. Yeah, we have some ideas of what we think, and we want to learn from our past. We're not blind to it, but I don't think, oh, it's going to be tighter in the fall or looser, or oh, it's going to be this. We're changing the packages. We're changing the cars. This car is evolving. So I don't believe it's going to be something, because I've done that in the past and it didn't really work out for me. So I just react, and I let my smart people around me. I've surrounded myself with the smartest people in the garage, both at Trackhouse and Chevrolet, and let them think about that. And I'll react in the car when I drive into turn 3.
We will close with Lee.
Lee Spencer, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio and Catchfence.com. Kind of curious, in 7 starts at Bristol, you have just one top 10, and I'm wondering, what is it about that place that you find so challenging?
Driving across the mountain and going into Bristol, Tennessee seems to, just when I get there, I have struggled a lot. Had a one truck and one Xfinity car that I thought I could win in all my starts. And Bristol was my second ever race in the sport, 2011, and I crashed in practice. I was the slowest in qualifying in a backup, and I ran into everything during the race. It was terrible. If I knew, I would fix it. I just haven't been able to make speed. My teammates are generally faster than me there, and I know that. I've studied Daniel a lot, just looking through his stuff, and we've had completely equally built, same setup cars at Bristol, and he outran me. So as a teammate, happy for him, but want to beat him. So and neither one of us ran great. So just a continuation of, obviously I have a lot of laps around there in my mind. I remember when I went there for the first time, I was supposed to have just ran the one race in 2011 in the truck, and that was going to be it, bucket list, but it went pretty good. We finished 10th. So we found a way to, fund a few more, and we went to Bristol for the second one. I remember just being like on top of the world. I've got this NASCAR stuff is not as hard as I thought. Boy, Bristol kicked my butt that Wednesday night. That was back when we raced Wednesday night. So, I have those memories of the bad and the good, but why I can't make as much speed, I don't know.
All right, Ross, thanks for joining us, and good luck this weekend.
Yeah, thank y'all.
All right, there's the checkered flag. Great job, driver.